And we are back to discuss some more Daredevil Born Again, this time for episodes 3 and 4. I'm joined here, as always, by Preston Jacobs and special guest, Mr. Logan, who you all know as Ness, but he's going by his real name now. And for those of you who don't remember, Mr. Logan, again, is our comics guy, so I'm glad to have you with us for this one. Of course, once again, we'll be covering Daredevil episodes 3 and 4. I gotta say, for episode 3, this is what I kind of wanted from She-Hulk, which was a lawyer.
You wanted She-Hulk to be not funny at all?
I laughed as well at that.
Hold on, because this is what I wanted from She-Hulk, in the sense where I wanted her to do some law pertaining to heroes and the supernatural and all the world-shattering stuff. Like, how does that connect to American law? And the creators of She-Hulk even said, like, yeah, we didn't know anything about law, so we were trying to avoid that as much as possible, which sucks, because episode 3 shows you that when you apply American law to the superhero stuff, it could be super, super interesting, especially with, the closing statements between Murdoch and the prosecution.
I am so torn with this show. Oh my gosh. It's because look, I liked the show that was at the beginning, and I like the show now, but they are two completely different shows that have no thematic coherency. Like they have switched gears to something completely different that has nothing to do with with episode 1 and how the show was framed. And I don't even know what I'm like. I don't even like. And it's hard for me to shake it. It's really hard because in that first episode, you're establishing that, like, okay, hey guys, Fisk is a stand-in for Trump, and then you're like, okay, how is there any similarity? There's no similarity between Fisk and Trump in any of this. The problems and also, like, the city itself and the setting seems to be the New York setting of the 1980s. Everyone's like, oh man, New York, it's falling apart. There's so much crime. They can't even collect the garbage. And it's like, where am I in, like, 1987 New York? Like, what are they talking about? Like, the New York is falling apart. And, like, it's a completely, and it has no relationship to today, like America today, like the problems that people are thinking about today. Like the problems today, there's a lot of problems in America, a lot. But, like, it's very rare now that you talk to somebody on the street and they're like, oh, you know what the problem is? It's all the crime. If we could just get the police to clean it all up. Like, crime is down. Like, it's not, or just as bad as it's been. It's not like an epidemic like in the 1980s. So it just, I don't even know, like, that aspect of the show is really weird to me. But on a good side, like, the acting is brilliant. The story with Daredevil's court case is really interesting. There's so many little shocks. But because the beginning of the story, the episode 1, like, established this as, like, okay, we're talking about modern problems. Like, we're making some sort of statement. And I'm sitting here watching the show being like, what's the statement? I don't understand what the statement is.
Yeah, it's so, almost, like, as if, like, Hell's Kitchen has regressed from episode 1 and 2 to 3 and 4, because they even establish in episode 1 and 2, oh, it's cleaner now. They go and they have a sit down with Kingpin.
You're totally
They're
right.
both happy that the city is doing better and that there's places that are closed that are getting gentrified out. And then to like go back to your point, it feels very much like if you've seen an episode of Family Guy, they'll do this weird A plot in the beginning and completely switch off and just, that's the beginning, and then here the whole episode's different. It feels like that for the season as well, and I was having a problem with that and watching it with people I knew, because it was like, as soon as they hit that 1 year, it's been 1 year since Foggy's death, right? Then everything seemed to go back to 1987. That seems to be, like, the, how do you call it?
It's
Go on.
the regression or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's been so like if I just took episode 3 by itself in a vacuum and I just found this episode 3, and I didn't think about all of the political establishment that they had earlier, or if I quieted my mind and didn't think about modern politics today, and I watched the episode, I'd be like, this is really good. This is a really brilliant acting, the ups and downs, the surprises of Matt Murdock coming out and like surprising the courtroom by revealing that his defendant's a vigilante. Like all of those things would work. The scenes are shot beautifully, the acting is great, but I can't shake how it has no relationship to today or the previous episodes. That's what's so odd about the show.
In this regard, to fix your problem, I wish there was more of a connection to the other shows, and there kind of is, but not enough. For example,
I mentioned the Skrull, right?
they mentioned the Skrull in episode 4, which was fine, but I wish there was more of an emphasis put on Falcon and Soldier and that whole thing, because the Flashmasters are upset because all these people come back and there's just not enough space and da-da-da. I wish because of all those people coming back, it brought in a bunch of crime, because people have can't go back to their homes anymore. There's someone else living in it now, or something happened in their lives before. Now their lives are gone. They have no job. Therefore, they're forced to turn.
Opening up a power dynamic by adding all these characters in there.
Yeah, no, of course. And I think that's how you would solve it. But no, I quite liked episode 3. I thought it was great. The courtroom stuff specifically, that's what I want. That's what I live for.
It's so funny. I'm on the opposition. I kind of hated episode 3. And I felt myself rolling my eye. It felt like kangaroo court. It felt, pardon my language, a lot like bullshit. When he pulls the mask straight from that, I rolled my eyes. I couldn't do it. And they even have the scene where they try to punish him. And the counselor, the judge, is just, well, we did say we wouldn't do this, but I guess I'm going to add this back into arbitration or whatever.
That judge would have he would have never dealt with Matt Murdock again. He's you lost my sat mind in here, and fucking treated me like shit in order to suppress the fact that this guy was a vigilante, and then you introduce that he's a vigilante, fuck you, dude. You'd just be like, it'd be over.
That's what I was thinking in the moment watching the show. It's fuck you, dude. This is crazy that you would do that to your client. And not only that, we saw the consequences at the end of episode 3. That was the first thing on my mind was, oh, you just got this guy killed. Or you just put a big target on. Why don't you reveal that you're Daredevil in court? That'd be cool then, huh?
Right. I'm surprised that Matt Murdock didn't feel more guilty about what he did.
Yeah.
Because the entire premise of the secret identity is to protect the person's life and their loved ones, right? That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
And then they immediately reveal who the guy is, and then he's instantly killed. Yeah.
And he has more sympathy for the guy that went to jail for stealing food.
That's weird.
I do understand.
The fiddle faddle subplot, which it's interesting and all, and it was well acted and everything, and Matt Murdock flirting with the girl and everything. The fiddle. It's not like I didn't like that scene by itself. It, yeah. I do. But I'm what the fuck does this fiddle faddle have to do with anything, man?
I think that it was supposed to contrast to that ending scene where Fisk had he was eating in front of that guy, much like the cops were to the criminal on the pavement. They're eating the fiddle faddle right in front of him, and just Fisk is into Adam or whatnot. I think it's supposed to draw a parallel between the cops and Fisk or whatever, but
that is something I'm having trouble also connecting with, is that we've got these two parallel stories going on, Daredevil's story and Fisk's story. And it's hard for me to say how they are parallel. They just seem to be two things going on at the same time.
It would seem that they're both trying not to regress, like how we said earlier, back to what they were from my perspective.
Who they were, right?
Yeah. And they're not doing a great job, either of them.
Yeah, it's frustrating, like seeing the Fisk story, because the Fisk story is essentially he wants to be a good politician and he wants to be, he doesn't want to go back into the crime, but then they keep telling him that, oh no, society's falling apart though, you know, and without you being a criminal, and there's chaos in the streets now with the rival gangs, and there's so much red tape that you can't do your environmentalism garbage project or whatever. And it's just like that world of like the politician trying to do good, but the world not changing is just, that just doesn't fit today. Like today we see it more as like the politicians are either creating the chaos or doing nothing.
Yeah.
While the world would stay together if it weren't for the people in power fucking things up. And so it's this like reverse message that like, oh, the world's just so fucked up, and the politician, he wants to keep it together, but he just can't. There's too much red tape and there's too much chaos. And it's like, it's the exact reverse of the world. And I understand that all these scripts were written at a different time, and the story was, written at a different time, and they didn't know what to do with it. But I think it falls flat today. It's just kind of like, especially considering that they've like established him as a Trump stand-in in the first episode, for the character to be like, oh, I'm going to do an environmentalism project. And I want to be legit, and I don't want any more. I don't want any corruption anymore. Like, you're just like, well, that's just not. That's like what. That's not the world we live in. Like, I don't know why this parallel's been made.
And the only one I can like, there's no like true actions of parallel either. Besides, like, what I can remember is, I think in episode 2, he like stops traffic to fix that hole and kind of goes past paperwork, which I couldn't think of anything that real life besides like the McDonald's pictures where he was working at McDonald's. It kind of reminded me of that, but that was it. I couldn't like. Right. I mean, I know it's a hand over fist reference, right? You can tell, like, they have the blue hats that they wear. Sure. So, like, I just don't know.
But like, who is it for? Like, is it? Would some right winger tune into the show and be like, oh yeah, this makes sense because like, Trump is trying to do efficiency in Doge, and the world's not letting him. Just like Fisk is trying to create an environmental project, and the world's not letting him.
Yeah.
I mean, would that happen? But then they'd be like, oh, why is he trying to do an environmental project? That seems woke or whatever. Like, it's just.
Seems like he actually is a good guy. Yeah, he's starting to trick me too. No,
right. Like,
there was a point where in episode 3, I looked over to a friend of mine that I was watching with. I think that I'm starting to like Fisk. I think he's a good mayor. Like, they're just making him a kind of good mayor in the show a little bit, in my opinion. I don't know what his deal is.
Right, it's weird. I mean, there was a scene where the suck up worker guy, this whatever.
Soprano.
Carmine said it was the Soprano's son.
Yeah, guy. It's Tony Soprano.
Tony Soprano. Where he like says like, I'm so sorry, sir. I believe in you. Hear. Just right, and then Fisk is like, for a moment, you're like, and he's like, he like feels sorry for the kid.
Oh, he's gonna bash his head in the door. Oh no,
Right, but then he's like, don't mess up again, or I'll kill you.
Yeah,
like,
right. Yeah, straight up threatens murder or whatever. Like that, it was. That'll be the last thing you do. Like, whoa.
Logan, have you seen all of Penguin on HBO?
No, actually.
Oh, I don't want to spoil it for you, but Preston knows what I'm talking about. I hope. I'm wondering if we're going to get at the very end a situation like what happened in Penguin's finale regarding Fisk and the Sopranos kid. I won't spoil it for you. But
essentially, what Carmine is talking about, I won't spoil it, but essentially what Carmine is talking about is the character of Penguin has an ability to make everyone think that he feels sympathy and empathy when in fact he feels none. And so even you yourself, you're like, oh, I'm feeling bad. Oh, maybe he is a good guy. Maybe he's actually feeling something.
Yeah.
But it's all a fucking act. He feels None of it.
Yeah, of course.
None of
Episode
it.
4's ending definitely reveals that. I just remember having at least 4 to 5 different moments of, maybe he is doing kind of, maybe he's doing better than Daredevil is.
Maybe he really,
Daredevil's
wants to get out of gangster stuff.
He's going to
and then it's
therapy. I mean, come on.
And then
the guy's going to therapy. No.
And then he's just eating a big plate of asparagus and noodles or whatever in front of some guy. And it took me a second to click that was Vanessa's affair, because I guess he had been down there so long. He's like growing a beard and he's like hasn't showered.
Oh, is that Adam?
Yeah.
Did she give the name earlier?
No, I think she did in the little counseling scene, and then he goes down and he goes, "Adam, I'm gonna eat in front of you," and it's weird and
that's a good Kingpin.
Very romantic.
That's a really good Kingpin impression.
I've been practicing it.
Before we continue on, a viewer rightfully pointed out that, Preston, you and I missed something for our last Daredevil discussion. We didn't really talk about Foggy Nelson and his death that much. Logan, what's going on with Foggy's death? I keep seeing people say that it's a fake out. He's coming back.
I would highly doubt that. I mean, I'm hard pressed to think. I think Foggy does die in the comics at some point. But not in the Born Again storyline. That's more about like Foggy kind of distrusting Matt, and Matt gets disbarred, and I think he gets killed by. Oh, okay, yeah. No, I'm mixing up the show. Yeah, so in Born Again, it's just like Kingpin systematically dismantling Matt's life from the inside, because killing him would be too easy. He finds out he's Matt Murdock, and they start freezing his bank accounts and getting Foggy to distrust him. Like, to the point where he gets disbarred from being a lawyer and he has to move out of New York and all this shit. And I'm really trying to think. I think Foggy does die in like some comics somewhere along the line. I know that White Tiger dies pretty similarly in the comics. Foggy's death, it just kind of felt natural. Like, as soon as I saw the trailer, I think all of us kind of had the feeling that was the only thing that would bring Matt back. Like, to being full Daredevil. At least a lot of people that had been watching since season 1 in 2015. I have a couple friends that love the cinematic stuff, and that was like their first big guess was, I'm guessing Foggy's gonna go right out the gate, and he did. I thought it would be at least the end of episode 2.
Well, they say that there's some Foggy faking his death, it says, and Daredevil 468 and joining the Witness Protection Program.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't read that issue. I read some Daredevil, like I've read Born Again and Shadowland and, a couple of the good ones, Man Without Fear, but I guess that must have escaped me. It must be a big storyline if a lot of people are pointing to it. Or maybe it was pulled up in like a new Rockstars video or something.
Well, I mean, the thing is this is where like everyone pretends like they read comics. Like, first of all, Daredevil is a C tier comic. Okay, it's not an A tier. Like, when I say like A tier comics,
like Spider-Man,
like X-Men, Spider-Man, right? That's fucking A tier. Okay, B tier comics are were like the Avengers. Maybe not now. I mean, maybe the Avengers are up at the top, but B level comics are like the Avengers, like Iron Man, Thor, Hulk. They don't sell. They never sold like nearly as many as X-Men and Spider-Man, right? And then C levels are just like the other people that just. I mean,
the Defenders, Luke Cage, the Defenders, the White Tiger,
Alpha Flight,
Alpha Flight. Oh my god, the Vindicator,
Alpha Flight. Rom, whatever.
That's fucked up. Rom is an A-list. Don't say that.
No, really?
I have a couple Rom comics on my. That's crazy.
Yeah. There's some that are there's some that are always on like the border. Like Fantastic Four was always on the border of A and B. Like,
Yeah, I think it had that A spot until like the 90s, and then it kind of fell over.
Where does the Punisher fit on that ranking?
Oh, actually, I mean, Punisher would probably be an A tier. I mean, Punisher sold really well.
Yeah, and he had his own movies like Spider-Man did before the MCU, so like people wanted, they had that drive to see it. Speaking of Punisher, that second episode. Oh, wait, before we get into Punisher, going into the cops that mimic him, I thought that cop was dead until I seen him, and I thought Daredevil was just outright killing people when he slammed that dude's neck into the ground. And then I guess they can only pay like 2 cops.
I thought the guys at the apartment died.
Same,
And I totally thought because one, I was like, there's no way he'd reveal his identity to anyone, and two, like he fucking fucked them up so
he
bad.
grabs him
like,
by the neck and throws his vertebrae into the ground like as hard as possible. I thought that dude was paraplegic at some point.
And like, why is the guy like walking around like not telling people that Matt Murdock is Daredevil? Like,
he just has like a little.
Why is the guy keeping it a
bruise.
secret?
He's got a little bruise in the courtroom, and they're playing coy with each other, which is so silly because I guess they can really only hire one cop in New York, and he just keeps coming back. Like he comes back in episode 4. I legitimately thought this was like Daredevil snapping when he threw Bullseye off the roof. I was like, oh, we're gonna get more of that. We're gonna get more killing.
The episode ends with him like screaming and it being like you're just like, oh fuck, he's back. He killed some people. He's gone off the deep end. Well, no, he didn't. He bit us. The guy's fine. The guy's fine. You know, maybe White Tiger's fine too.
Yeah, they put some adamantium in his skull like they did Bullseye's back.
I mean, hey, man, the Kingpin survived a bullet through the skull,
dude,
through the brain.
No, like a tiny scar under his eye too, like the tiniest scar.
He had like in Echo, he had like nanites or something reconstruct his fucking head.
I forgot.
I don't know.
Yeah,
something weird like that.
You guys forgot Echo already. You know, we recorded it together, by the way.
Yeah, I don't remember that. It was a bad show. I'll be the first to say it. It sucked.
Echo was not a good show.
I thought they were going to put more Marvel shows on Hulu because that's what they put Echo. They put Echo on Hulu, but guess not.
I think you're. I don't know. I think you're mistaken on this. Like, I think Echo was on Disney.
I swear to God, it was on Hulu. I swear to God, Echo was on Hulu.
I thought it was on Disney, but if they put her in timeout and put her on Hulu, that's not cool. She didn't do anything wrong. No, but the whole Punisher thing, that's probably been the best scene since episode 1 and 2. When you say his name, Red, and they're getting all into it. That was
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like when the show is when you look at the show with blinders on and you look at it at like scene by scene, each scene is beautiful. Like, oh my God, like the scene of Matt Murdock and Punisher like screaming at each other is like might be the best scene so far. I mean, I really like the fight scene at the very beginning, but like it, might be the best thing. It's just like two guys yelling at each other, two guys bickering, and it was fucking brilliant, right? Incredibly acted, incredibly directed. Just it was fucking great.
Even the slap to the face at the end was so like it was so visceral. When I'm sorry, he like immediately pulls back. That's not me. I'm so sorry about that. That's the first honest thing you did. Was such a good line. Like it just fit.
Like, why are you here? Are you looking for permission? Like,
yeah. Or are you trying to get me to go do it? Are you looking for permission? I like how he disavows the cops that are like playing Boy Scout, as he calls it, or whatever, playing pretend. Which is funny because last night I was just looking through comics to see if I could find like one instance of the cops mimicking Punisher, but I know it's a real life military thing that they're incorporating into the show, I think, and they're just pulling it down.
I think it's a meta joke because he's like more fanboys out there, and he's like, yeah, you've got a lot of fanboys or something, and he's like, yeah, and like cops too, like And I think that's like a real life thing, how like Punisher has a bunch of fucking fanboys that don't really represent him, that do shit that he wouldn't do, and even among police officers, which is ridiculous, right? Considering he's a vigilante. But like,
I mean, they tricked me. I thought that was Punisher at the end. For like a week, I was pretty pissed off.
It's funny because like Daredevil didn't believe it for a second. He's like, Punisher? No.
Yeah.
Like,
the episode starts and it's like, no, I don't know. He goes, he even knows where he is. He's like been keeping like walking over that subway track, keeping tabs on him. It seems the way that he talks to him, like, "Oh, you're just gonna keep rotting down here."
But
he walks through that area like he knows it so well. I thought that he was gonna pull open a door.
Punisher wouldn't be sloppy enough to leave a casing.
Yeah, that's also what I was thinking. That's why I thought he was saying that to point it more towards Frank. Oh, this was you. You wouldn't leave a casing. No, it's just cops don't do that.
He should have mentioned that. Yeah, you're right. Like it's one of those things. Like, I mean, it's you'd only do it because you want it to be found, right? It's like I want to say it like a Valyrian steel dagger, but like that doesn't apply. But yeah,
not at all. That's the opposite, I think, actually. They don't want to be found. They get lost at the story.
Right, but I think like everyone's argument like before the reveal was like, well, the person wanted somebody to know. It was like some sort of statement. You know?
Yeah, I thought it was the writers saying, hey, we want Daredevil to fight Punisher. I thought that was the statement, but I guess I was just wrong. He's just going to beat the shit out of a bunch of cops. I think that might be it. He might just fight the cops. Like, because I'm really trying to... Because also... probably need to bring this up. Muse shows up at the end. I don't know a lot about Muse. I know how, like, their powers work. I hardly know their secret identity. I've read, like, 5 comics with them in it, but they're interesting. Seems cool. I'm excited for it, They're like if you're not aware, it's like they're an artist. Like, they're kind of just crazy to the max. Like, there's no reasoning with them. They see the world in some weird radar sense like Daredevil, but it's very like artistic and abstract shit. Like, they see the world like Van Gogh paintings and whatnot, and they rip out people's organs and blood and use it in their artwork and graffiti and whatnot. So because they have some sort of, I don't know, special sense like Daredevil, it's a little harder for Daredevil to track.
You're using the they not in a plural sense of Muse, but in a
I forgot if it was a boy or a girl.
In a non-gendered way, right?
Yeah, I don't remember like who the they were so unimportant to me when I had been reading that arc that I just forgot who it was. So that's why I'm using they. I don't want to misgender them. a fictional character. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. They're really going through. They're going through characters pretty fast. I mean, we're only on episode 4, and we've already been introduced and killed off like White Tiger. We had our Punisher cameo. We've introduced and killed off Foggy, and now we're getting Muse, and it's only been 4 episodes.
Also, I just want to say I feel bad for talking shit about White Tiger's costume, knowing he was going to get shot in the head. They show it in the first episode. They show this shitty Halloween costume from Spirit, and he's just fighting in like a little bodega. And I remember looking to my buddy and that is the worst suit I've ever seen. And then he just dies. Yeah, I take it back. His suit wasn't that bad, all right? Like, I feel a little horrible about that.
You're like, that guy's suit is so bad he deserves to be shot in the head.
And then he gets shot.
Like, no, I didn't really mean it.
It was the spitting out the cereal moment for me. I was so upset. Yeah, I didn't mean it. He shouldn't have died for that.
Poor guy.
I agree with you guys. That Punisher cameo scene was pretty cool, but I'm kind of getting sick of Matt Murdock not being in his fucking costume doing the Daredevil stuff. Because I get it's the cool thing to do because Spider-Man 2 did it. That, Spider-Man 2, there's a moment in the movie where Peter quits being Spider-Man and then he ultimately goes back. We know Matt's going to get back in the suit, yada, 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 but I wish it was a little bit quicker. Like, I get you got to have these moments where you see Matt living his life, doing the lawyer stuff. That's fine. I quite enjoy that every now and then, but get in the fucking suit, my dude. Do your Daredevil
And then
shit.
At the end of the episode, we get like this weird fucking Ben Affleck scene. Like, it feels like it gets ripped straight from like a Ben Affleck Daredevil scene where he's just on the roof doing CGI throwing knives, like with the little baton with the line. He's like just choreographed fighting without a suit on, just practicing fighting the air, which is so odd to do. But that scene at the end was, I'm sorry, it's just so bad. And why is everything CGI? And like, if you've noticed, a lot of the Daredevil stuff is CGI in this. It's very odd. When
I don't know. I
season
mean,
one
I guess
was,
I
like,
mean, I've only been watching on a small tablet, so it doesn't seem that bad to me.
You're watching on a tablet? My man. Watch it on your
man.
TV.
Yeah, too much effort. Do you feel there's enough? Do you feel like there's enough reason for him not to be Daredevil?
No, the only reason is because Foggy was like, "Oh, Matt, I didn't want to give you a reason to do it," for like 3 years, and then his best friend died. It's as soon as he died, we've all lost close loved ones, right? There is like that sense of honor and duty of like, I gotta kind of do what they would want of me, but like in reality, if you're Daredevil and your client just got shot in the head and Kingpin is the mayor, I don't know. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say I might put the suit back on. But that's just me personally, as a normal person.
The thing is, like, I wish there was more negative consequences to him having...
Like, I might get shot in the head like Hector, or I might end up like Muse. Like, I can see myself ending up like Muse, or what if I'm just as bad as Kingpin?
Right, like him throwing Bullseye off a roof when Bullseye totally deserved it.
Yeah, it wasn't even
Bullseye
mad.
doesn't even die. Right, like that's not him going too far. Like had he killed somebody and he felt he went too far, like maybe. Like
if he
felt
killed
guilty.
Bullseye on the night that Foggy died, that would have been him paralleling Bullseye and him. Am I as bad as him? What am I doing? I'm betraying my.
But Bullseye didn't die, so it was like, have you didn't go that.
He
far.
got life thing, right? He's breathing the same air as you, and the whole spiel about that. Well, Foggy isn't. Foggy didn't get life. That was a fun way to like write that little scene,
right?
But...
Or if it like if being Daredevil at night bled into his day-to-day life, like let's say he loses his temper more like during the day and people like start looking at him weird because he's been like, because he can't control himself, then maybe I could see it, but it just I don't feel like there's established enough reason for him not to be.
They just reestablished a new girlfriend, like a new like a non-toxic relationship, like with some other girl instead of Karen, which they could have just kept Karen if this was going to be the plot. And he just sneaks out at night, and that's it. Like I thought it would bleed into their relationship a little. Like, oh, they have a really good relationship. There's a 3-week time, or maybe a year time skip, since trials take forever to get going, right? Because it seems like there's a lot of time skips in between every episode. So we get to Hector's trial. Okay, we could assume they've been together 3 to 4 months since Kirsten put them on that date. So what's going on? Like, what's going on, big guy? Where's Karen? Like, what happened there? Like, you don't want to pay her $75,000 an episode, or you needed somebody new that you couldn't re-up, or I don't know. I'm kind of glad she's out of the show, though. If you go back and watch season 1, a lot of season 1 is her kind of bitching at Matt and Ben until like they do anything, and then that gets one of them killed. So like it might have just happened the same in this one, but it does feel like it doesn't bleed into his like personal life at all. He's not having like freakouts in the courtroom or, anything like that. He's actually there's not
enough negative consequence to him being Daredevil for him not to be Daredevil. Like so, like him being Daredevil seems to work out really fucking well. Like whenever he Daredevils, it seems to work out pretty well. In fact, when he Matt Murdock's, he's been fucking shit up. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, the Matt Murdock thing, he's been not Matt Murdocking at all. Like, to the point where, like, it's just, I'm still stuck on the fact that Hector dies. He goes to the morgue. His I think his niece shows up, who's like the new White Tiger, the same name as the female White Tiger. And then he's like, I feel so bad for that Fiddle Faddle guy. Like, that is... I'm so stuck. Right. Well, I have a client doing time at Rikers for stealing Fiddle Faddle. It's like, okay, why aren't you like, I got somebody murdered. I think he does say that, but it's just like glossed over really quickly.
The Fiddle Faddle scene, it's actually really good up until the point where Matt Murdock starts feeling bad for him. Because he is that, like, we've all met the Fiddle Faddle guy in our life. Yeah. Like a guy where you're just like, oh my God, help me help you. Like, Jesus Christ, like, please. Like, come on, dude. You know, like
You've got to get it
we've all
together.
known the fiddle faddle guy. So, like, I don't know. I still like the fiddle faddle scene. It's fine.
I like
it's fine,
it.
but
I just think it's so odd that he has much more like empathy and sympathy for this situation over like, I don't know, a murder. It's so
Right.
weird. Like you're right,
but like it doesn't fit. Like the fact that White Tiger got shot in the fucking head, that should have floored Daredevil.
Yeah.
For like weeks.
He should have been
right?
screaming on the
weeks.
rooftop like how he did about
And like,
Foggy. I
it's
did
like,
it again.
I keep trying to make a difference and I can't make a difference.
I keep just getting people
And instead
killed.
it's like, I'm getting people killed. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have revealed that he was White Tiger. I've left a family fatherless. But instead we go right to like flirting with Latvian women and fiddle faddling.
And doing backflips and weird tricks on the roof to like get back into the mood of Daredevil. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you crying?
I feel like the fiddle faddle scene, like maybe it's an editing thing. Like that fiddle faddle scene seems like that should have been like the opening scene of the show. Like something light to start out
right
with.
before the intro. And then it cuts
Right.
to the intro. Literally, I understand exactly that feeling. That scene, I genuinely like how I did like it. But when he's sitting there like about to cry, when he's behind the glass, you're right. You're so right about how you wanted dessert that
You're
night.
so right. Like your fiddle faddle story has touched me.
So, you know
more
what?
than a man getting shot in the head.
You're right. Fuck Hector. This is what's important. He's dead now.
This is
Just like
what's
Foggy.
important.
I'm not going to say his name. Like, it's so weird. The way that Matt is written, it's like, I mean, I guess it feels like Matt, he just doesn't give a shit anymore.
It's just maybe he has like short-term memory loss, you know, or
Yeah.
it's just like he does
He does get hit on the head quite a bit. Like, a ridiculous amount.
Man. That's true. Maybe he got hit in the head and he forgot about Hector and he forgot about Foggy and all that mattered to him was fiddle faddle.
Yeah. It was just that and yelling at the Punisher to get
But that's the thing is he goes and he then has an emotional scene with the Punisher. So fiddle faddle like
It definitely affected him.
This is what I'm talking about. It's just like really like great scenes by themselves that do not fit together into some sort of cohesive show.
If he would have walked in and said, "You ever heard of fiddle faddle, Frank?" That would have been so good. That's
a good impression. That's a good impression. Your Fisk and your Matt are pretty good, man.
I like the show. They're so funny. No, but
so episode 3, I quite enjoyed. Episode 4, I thought it was a little weak. Logan, where do you stand on 3 and 4?
I'm the opposite. I liked episode. I think it was everywhere. It felt like a child like writing a Daredevil episode, which was kind of cool.
Well, you like episode 4 because Fiddle Faddle is in episode 4, so of course you're gonna fucking like episode.
Well, why shouldn't I have some kettle corn for dessert? I keep stealing the same food every night, right, Press? No, but yeah,
That's right.
It's such a. Well, I think like the way it played, like it kept subverting me. I kept like, and not in a good way. I don't think I would say, but it kept subverting me. Like unlike episode 3, I kept rolling my eyes. Oh fuck, here we go. This Kingpin's gonna be like, the McDonald's no longer offers the McRib, right? And then we get to hear him bitch at Vanessa. And I'm gonna fix that. McDonald's will be headquarters of all of New York, and it's so annoying. So I just want to skip those.
Oh
scenes.
my god!
This
By the way, Fisk and Vanessa. If you were Vanessa, wouldn't you just be so bored? Wouldn't you just be so bored of listening to Fisk? And if you were Fisk, wouldn't you just be so bored of listening to Vanessa?
Dude.
It's two incredibly boring people. Like,
Yes.
boring relationship.
I feel bad for the therapist. I'm surprised she doesn't go home and just cry in Matt's arms from how boring doing those scenes were.
Like I have the most. It's amazing. They've murdered so many people and they're so boring together.
Like, legitimately, this is their. Here's every scene of them at counseling. I was a crime lord. He was a crime lord, and I want to keep doing his crime. I was in business, and I want to keep doing business. I want to do his business, and I cheated on him. It's that. It's just that. There's no like complex. It's not like she's not like upset about being poisoned at the end of season 1 due to him or anything. Like, if she was like, yeah, you left and traumatized me, like, there's maybe a case to be made. She's not bringing up anything
or
from
like
the past.
Getting to the heart of the matter of why she had the affair.
Yeah. Or
Like,
even why she
you know,
felt
it's like as if
to...
people just have affairs. People don't just have affairs out of thin air. They have affairs because of another underlying problem. You know, whatever. I mean, that underlying problem could be a lot of different things. It could be they're not getting, you know, love at home. That underlying problem could be that they're an addict. That underlying problem could be, you know, they wanted to have revenge. That underlying problem could be that they just don't give a fuck and they're not very empathetic people. But there's always an underlying problem, you know, that leads to the affair. And I don't get what the underlying problem is.
Yeah, it seems like she was just really mad he got shot in the head by Echo. That seems to be... Why did you go do Hawkeye? Why did you go do the Echo show? That seems to be her biggest... I didn't get paid to be on those shows.
Had she explained that, I would have been like, okay. She's like, you went off with your protege, and so I had my own protege. You know, or something. Like, give me something.
You give anything.
Like, give me something.
Yeah, you went and signed on to Hawkeye while I stayed here. That'd be... If she said that.
You went off to Oklahoma, and I was lonely.
Yeah.
You know?
Even bringing up that she saw the Steve Rogers musical. Like, oh, I was in New York at that point in time while you were not, or whatever. That any direct reference to her, being the leader or anything, it's just... I don't understand why she cares so much about Fisk's business if she's willing to just throw away their relationship so quickly, which I guess she's not because of counseling, but when any couple gets to the counseling stage, it's essentially just dead, right? So they're just trying to stay together for the sake of trying.
It's such an... I mean, I understand that, like, in the comic book she gets brought into the gangster world too, but it's hard to imagine from where they started. Like, she's a painter, right? Mm-hmm. And then she, for some, like, I never bought the relationship. I'd be like, why is this painter into this gangster just because he has money? That's usually starving artists aren't into money, but okay. Let's say she's into money.
You may have clicked something together. Muse is an artist and a painter. So, I don't know, maybe that is her protege? I have no clue. I highly doubt it. But I was just thinking about, I guess that could be a parallel to Vanessa, since we're adding so many characters in that are parallels to each other or whatnot. But,
okay. All right. This is the prediction that Muse, being an artist, has some sort of connection to Vanessa.
Yeah, and then Muse takes off the mask and is Vanessa. That's going to be crazy.
Oh.
That feels like that's how this show is going. It's going to be her daughter or something.
Muse takes off the mask and it's the fiddle faddle guy.
And
you're like, oh, you see that fucking coming.
Like, how did he do that? How does he look so different? No, dude, that would be so... I legit thought the fiddle faddle guy not the same guy who was, like, putting women into a crate in episode 1 of season 1. I thought it was the same actor. So I thought it was supposed to be a callback.
I assumed that the fiddle faddle man was related to something or other, because it's like you go from like cop conspiracy, right? You've got cop conspiracy for 3 episodes. Mm-hmm. Cops conspiracy, and then cops arresting the fiddle faddle dude, and you're like, how does this fit into the fucking conspiracy?
Imagine
They're
stealing
eating the fiddle faddle.
Yeah, imagine stealing kettle corn and then going to Rikers Island. Or being put in the raft. That's crazy to me. Rikers? Not even like just a jail cell for the night? Like nothing like, oh no, yeah, this is a hardened criminal right here. That's insane.
Well, it was like, it was a whole crate of fiddle faddle,
Yeah, I would, Fisk takes that shit seriously, how fat he was. Oh my god.
I mean, I'm just saying, if they... Oh, bad. He's like, it was my fiddle faddle.
I told the cops to lock down the fiddle faddle.
Guy impression's really good. Preston, did you like both episodes, or...
I think the second episode was stronger just because it had, I mean, again, like my problem with the show is that it's got these incredible pieces, but the pieces don't fit together. So, and I have a problem with the whole show as a, but at the same time, those individual pieces I can enjoy quite a bit, you know? And so I think that the individual pieces in episode 4 were stronger than the individual pieces in episode 3. I think the individual pieces in episode 3 were good, but I think episode 4 was stronger. But I still just have a fundamental problem with the whole show when looking at it as a whole.
Yeah, I think
story.
the episodes in a bubble can kind of exist.
Yeah.
It feels a lot like a comic does, where every issue is like not in line with. If you're watching, like if you're reading issue 4, issue 3, it's not having like the same themes. It's just, we're just gonna go into, I guess, what makes sense next or whatever. But this doesn't really make sense. How Preston said, I think it's a bunch of like pieces that I like.
You know what, comparing it to the comic is because you know how so in comic books, for people that didn't read comic books back in the day. In order to try to get people to buy more comics, they would cross them over to other comics all the fucking time. So you'd be reading, Spider-Man issue, 342, and he would be teaming up with X-Force. And then they would get halfway through the story and it would say, to be continued in X-Force at issue 57. And then you'd have to go buy X-Force,
read the tie-ins, come back,
read the tie-in, and now you're addicted to both titles. So now you're buying Spider-Man and X-Force, and it worked on me a million times where I these streaks of comics, because I started buying it to continue the story, and I wanted like complete stories, but they were, and so it's kind of, but I will say that when they do cross over, you're usually crossing over to a different team with a different group of artists and different writers. Mm-hmm. So they do end up being rather disjointed when they cross over. And so I would say that this kind of has the same feel where it's like, this episode will continue in Punisher issue 121. And then we're all of a sudden in the Punisher story, and it's a completely different atmosphere and a completely different writer and a completely different like storyline. And you're like, what the fuck?
That is
it is
so on point with like, that is exactly how this feels. Like that's such a good way to put it.
It actually feels like a comic book, but in a bad way.
In a bad way. I feel like I could switch to Punisher, and it would be like different art style, a little grittier, and Red came in and talked a bunch of shit, and it would cut to him walking the streets and his whole thing about doing Punisher cop stuff. But that is the most that is the comparison that I'm gonna have to stick with for the rest of the show, because it feels just like that. It's insane. It feels like when Karen showed up in episode 1 or 2, we should have switched over to Karen in San Francisco, like some weird Game of Thrones ensemble scene where we get to see what's happening out west. It legit feels like that. And also, for the people that are like, I just want to, for you guys even, imagine all this happens and we get to episode 10 and then Foggy shows up with a shit-eating grin. How much of a slap in the face would that feel like for this?
I'm wondering if that's just going to happen.
Well, something's coming because the reshoots were for the beginning and the end. Right?
Oh,
so
really?
we're in the sandwich period. We're in the ice cream sandwich.
And you don't think it could be like a Foggy flashback since he's not pushing away his memory anymore. It's not like, I'm starting to remember these
I think
times.
what we're going to see at the end is we're going to see a lot of those fight scenes that we saw in the first episode, but we're going to see them in the last episode. And we might see Karen again. My guess is we're going to see Karen again.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine Foggy popping out of Cherry's like closet. I was in here the whole time, Matt. Like that would suck so
I'm wondering
bad.
if he was in witness protection this entire time for reasons.
If that happened, I don't understand I mean, I guess it could be Fisk playing mind games, but I don't see Foggy. I mean, I guess he wouldn't know. He would just be pulled into witness protection to stay safe from Bullseye.
Well, keep in mind that in the first episode in the diner scene, Fisk tells Matt, I had nothing to do with Foggy's death. Also, in that same episode, he tells Vanessa, I know about Adam. Don't worry, I'm not going to do anything. And in this episode, we saw that he lied. He did do something to Adam. And he even tells the therapist.
Oh.
Therapist asks them what happened to Adam, and they both says, I don't know. I truly believe Vanessa doesn't know, but Fisk clearly lying. So maybe Fisk had something to do with Foggy's death. Maybe. We'll see.
Cut to the scene from Revenge of the Sith when Darth Vader is rising and it's Foggy with cyborg parts.
Sure, why not? Before we wrap this up, since we've convened last time, the Fantastic Four trailer came out. Your boy Pedro looked very nice in it, Logan. What'd you think of the Fantastic Four? I know you're not a big fan of Pedro Pascal, but
I don't know. I'm done with the Marvel movies. I just read the comics now. I like the Daredevil show. I'm gonna watch it, of course. Man, that's a weird casting, right? Like I don't know. Reed Richards is like a dick, kind of to me. So like. Pedro Pascal playing Pedro Pascal for the 27th role. Cool. I'm excited, I guess. But he's so like...
I mean, the thing is, we all do love Pedro Pascal, but...
Yeah. He's a great actor.
I'm like trying to think of... Because you are right that Reed Richards is not likable.
No, he's cold. He's unfeeling to his wife. Like she's constantly trying to go fuck a fish man.
This is why everybody likes Johnny Storm. This is why everybody loves Johnny Storm.
You like Johnny and the Thing bitching at each other because you don't want to see Reed being like, put on the bandana and go take care of the baby. Like that sucks.
Reed exists as the ex machina because like whatever's happening, Reed is gonna fucking save everybody in the end because Reed, not only does he have his plastic man abilities, but he's the smartest human being to ever fucking live.
And that's, his whole problem is he's constantly locking himself inside of deep thinks, locking his family out of his mind and just sitting in deep think stations for like 20 weeks at a time, fasting, doing calculations on the wall, trying to like come up with a multiversal solution.
In many ways, the Reed Richards that we've seen put to screen, I'm trying to remember the actor from the
original
from the Jessica Alba Fantastic Four movie, but he captured him in my opinion, and I think even the Fan Four Stick version captured him, and I even think John Krasinski captured him, in having that like that aura of superiority, kind of like
in that way, yeah. Because I would say there were shades of him in each one. There were shades of Reed. But there's like
Pedro Pascal. He's too fucking likable.
Bro's too chipper. He's way too chipper. He's gonna be all in love with Sue and like actually care about her and stuff. Like that's not like sometimes that
Reed. Is kind of a joke, isn't it? Yeah.
I can't see Pedro being like, oh, my best friend's a monster guy, but I'm not going to try to turn him back. Like how Reed does, how he's just focused on everything else except for turning Ben back, to the point where Ben's like kind of wanting to die in a certain issue, right? Like Reed doesn't even care. He's not trying.
It is, why is it that Reed Richards can time travel, can change dimensions, has like the ability to do anything, and he can't change Ben back?
Yeah, his best friend, like the guy who protected him as a child. See, so like I think, you know what's funny is I love the Invisible Woman casting. When I watched Hobbs and Shaw for the first time like last year, and I went, she should play Invisible Woman, and she did, and I was so excited. And the Johnny casting is great. Even the Thing, I don't like the voice when he just sounds like a guy when he should sound like a rock monster. Yeah. But I mean, I like the actor from The Bear. He's actually great, and he would play a good Ben Grimm. It's just Pedro Pascal. That's the only... and I guess Robert Downey Jr. That's a whole other can of worms.
I was going to ask you about Robert Downey as Dr. Doom. Is it Dr. Doom or Mr. Doom?
I think so. Yeah. Oh, Doom. Yeah. Doctor. Oh, I thought you were doing a joke. Yeah, it's Doctor.
No, I really don't. I'm not a big Fantastic Four guy. I know Doom is like super important to a lot of people. People consider him one of the greatest comic book villains of all time, even over Thanos. I was going to ask you, Logan, since again you're my comics guy. How do we feel about Robert Downey Jr. as Doom?
Oh, I want to die. No, it's pretty bad. It's grim,
Oh.
bro. I'm not going to see Doctor Doom, like, a Doctor Doom from the comics until I'm in my 30s. Like, that's a terrifying idea for me. I thought by the time I was this age, I would have seen the Doctor Doom that I, like, love throughout, I don't know, at least 5 years of a trilogy or something like that, right? Not anymore. Now I get to wait another 5 to 10 years of, like, them casting, doing a second Robert Downey Jr. movie with Secret Wars, because he's going to play that. It's
To be fair, I feel like the moment they announced Robert Downey Jr. By the way, I don't know if you, depending on which video you saw, I think I showed it to you. I don't think I showed it to Preston. Right when they were announcing who was going to play Doom, they brought a bunch of, like, people cosplaying as Doom. And of course, one man steps up and he has the Doom mask. As he's about to take off, someone in the audience goes, Jared Leto. I was like, oh, God,
yeah, I do remember,
I hope
yeah.
not. Oh my God. And then it's Robert Downey Jr. At the moment they announced Robert Downey Jr., I'm expecting there to be a moment where Peter sees him and he gets super excited and he gets, like, blasted. Because I'm expecting that in the future. But also, to be fair, he could be a very good Doom. You don't know yet. Because I remember when Ben Affleck was first cast as Batman, everybody said the same shit. They're saying, he's going to suck, yada, yada. People loved his Batman.
Fuck are you talking about? You like Ben Affleck as Batman? What are you?
I didn't mind him.
Crazy?
I didn't mind. They said the same thing about Christian Bale.
He's not going to be a good Doom. He's going to be. It's going to be the same guy that we've seen for 23 plus movies, just a little angrier. I can guarantee it. If he blows me out of the water, I'll give you $100. But I highly doubt it. Like, it's Robert Downey. Have you seen him play any other character since Kiss Kiss Bang Bang? Like in 2005. Have you seen him play any other character?
Yeah, he kind of played a bit of a dick, a bit of a douchebag in Oppenheimer.
Iron Man. Remember? He did do that in Iron Man, you're right. It was this whole thing, I think. So it's just going to be that.
What did you think of Julian McMahon? He's the one that played him in the Jessica Alba Fantastic Four.
Oh, Metal Man? Yeah, I mean, it's cool. No, I'm good. He's just a metal man with electric powers. He kind of has, like, the wickedness of Doom, where he's like, I just want to fuck Jessica Alba, which is fine. Like, that's kind of Doom a little bit, but he doesn't really go after Invisible Woman as much as he's like, Reed fucked up my face, and my mom's dead. That's kind of his whole deal. And now I'm the leader of Latveria. Oh, yeah, okay. By the way,
they never get it, because Latveria is such a ridiculous concept that they haven't really focused on Latveria.
They're like, it's a Slavic country somewhere on the map. We don't know. Like, where is that? I want to know. But yeah, I mean, as for Fantastic Four, I have hopes, since it's not... I think they've confirmed it's not in the MCU. So there's a little more room to breathe. As far as storytelling goes... as far as Galactus goes. And you know what? Like, I've seen Mandalorian. I've seen Pedro Pascal be cold and unfeeling. If he could just tap into that, like, slightly, like, just a little bit, I'd be happy. I mean, he looks good as Reed. But when I heard that rumor and it came true, I was just like, fuck. Okay, here we go again. The suits everything looks great. They did the whole, it takes place in the 60s. Which I think everybody had been begging them to do since, like, 2019. So, like, I was on that train for a while, too. Like, please don't, just make it go back to the 60s. Don't have it contemporary. Because everybody's going to ask where they were. Where were they during Nick Fury's big week or whatever, when he met Hulk and Iron Man and Cash? Oh, yeah. They were in space, frozen in stasis of some sort. So that's going to be fun, but... honestly, I don't know if I'm going to be happy about Doom until after Secret Wars is over. Because they're just going to do Secret Wars 2015. We've seen some concept, like, art leak. I don't know if we should talk about that. It's spoilery. But it really seems like they're dipping into, like, 2015 Battle World. Or, like, 2015 Battle World. Because Battle World from 1984 was not the same, where it's, like, carved out regions. Oh, here's the Hulk area. Oh, here's the wall. Oh, here's, like... they really took from Game of Thrones with that Battle World thing in 2015, and they pulled a lot from. They put a wall that keeps out the dead. I mean, how on the nose can you get? Yeah, so I'm expecting, and the
That's
thing
the
was
thing
the
is, like,
wall.
I never read Secret Wars 2015.
Well, if you want,
I mean, I'm
you check it out because
obviously
that's where
the
we're
original
going.
Secret Wars and Secret Wars 2. I'm very familiar with,
And if they do that,
even the Fantastic Four.
I'd be
yeah.
so happy if they did the original, where it's just Doom being like, man, I'm gonna abscond from this little action figure fight and go try to steal the power of the Beyonder. That'd be cool, but it's still Robert Downey Jr. They're not gonna pay him like.
And like I say,
$1
like
billion every
I
10
think the
years.
original Secret Wars is such a fun, like the last 3 issues is just one of the most fun storylines that I've ever read.
Yeah.
That I still tell people like how great it is, and it's the last 3 issues of Secret Wars is just so much fun, and they should do that as a movie.
Yeah,
But-
when Molecule Man and Titania fall in love, they should do that as a movie.
oh god,
Just that as a 6-part miniseries on Hulu next to Echo, and then we're good.
oh god,
I'm surprised they haven't exploited ideas like that.
I'm surprised Molecule Man has not been brought into the MCU yet.
Well, if he does,
my
that's introducing a loaded gun. Like that's all that is.
Wait.
I mean, it's true.
What's up with Molecule Man? Why is that like kind of?
He can like rip apart he's like the universe. He's a constant in every single universe to the point where if he dies, like that universe is gone in Secret Wars 2015 at least.
Oh,
he's a I mean, they keep retconning him, but he's an incomplete cosmic cube.
Yeah.
He has infinite power. He and the Beyonder like both have infinite power, and they eventually unite into one thing. It's complicated.
Yeah, it gets really comics. You know what I mean?
nah.
Comics, yeah.
So it's one of those.
Before we wrap this up, Logan, again, we got to get you back on more often, my love, because I like having you on. You're my comics guy. But some of it is really not worth talking about. Like you reminded, even though I watched it and I sent you the link to watch it, I forgot that I watched Captain America: Brave New World, and you reminded me. Like,
I already
did
knew
you
you were
watch
good at
it?
that. Yeah, I watched it and it felt it was like watching an episode of like Star Trek Picard where it's like you just completely you're like, oh yeah, Data's daughter blew up. I don't give a fuck. Like it's so garbage, dude.
Yeah.
I don't care about like I just want to for the audience. There's like go when you watch Brave New World, look for it. There's 3 specific times that Red Hulk should have just ripped Sam Wilson's like torso off of his legs. He doesn't have super soldier serum, so when that thing slides around, that's essentially a blade. You know what I mean? With that kind of force, it's fucking insane how he survives that fight. Like I don't even get it, man. But I mean, they stuck to their gun. They're really hitting heavy with the Trump stuff. Now that I'm thinking, Brave New World was the Trump assassination attempt, right? Daredevil is Trump being elected. Right, as Wilson Fisk.
Yeah.
I'm realizing there's a recurring theme in the villains of Marvel. I don't know. I look. I don't
we'll
mind
see.
or anything, but I just like evil. I just like evil bad guys.
Well,
for
no,
the
I
sake
mean,
of being
I don't,
evil, like
I don't
Bullseye.
mind. Look, I don't mind political commentary
Yeah, me
either.
either, yeah.
But what statement are you trying to make?
Right.
Like, what's the statement?
Right.
Like,
But I also just wholeheartedly enjoy bad guys like Bullseye. He's just so fucking evil. He's throwing paper clips into like flies from the Ben Affleck movie.
Yeah.
Such a good reference. Like that. Like you're so evil. You're just willing to kill like the smallest harmless animal. You want to go kill a guy's best friend in front of him just to piss him off. That's evil shit. And like politically motivated villains, they're cool. I just think that it's been how you said like. They need a message, and it's been like overly saturated in politically motivated villains since like before Endgame. Like everybody's politically motivated in some way. It can't be like, oh, I just fucking hate this guy, like how Kingpin did in season 1 of Daredevil. I want to make the city better, but I hate this guy so much. I want to kill him.
Logan, before we wrap it up, where can the audience find you?
You can find me on like Instagram and Twitter. I'm a little more active, and YouTube. I'll be having. I'm working on a couple videos. Hopefully a collaboration with Preston soon. You can find me at LOWE_GUHN on any of those platforms.
So basically, Lowe Guhn,
Yes.
of course. And Preston, just to remind the audience, Preston's book, The Dreams of Ghosts and Indians, is out now on Amazon. And Preston, you've been finding some success. Hopefully, it sells enough to where you can get put on the New York Times bestseller list. Because I think someone said, I think you might need to sell at least 9,000 to 10,000 copies. Someone in your comment section said.
We're a bit far from there. But, yeah,
we can make it. We can make it. I got you.
If there's any cash cows out there, buy 10,000 copies of Preston's book. It would be so funny.
You just have $100,000 lying around.
You just have a garage filled of your book.
Bugs.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. As always, we'll see you all next time. Have a good one.